Wealth, yoga, wine. Valerie Hell. Welcome to my episode. This time I am going to talk about what's in your bank account when it comes to wealth, because we're in this pandemic and it's going to stay this way for a while. And I know many people are out of work. They feel as though they don't have any sources of income, but I work from home, and I have been working from home before the pandemic. I spent 24 years in the wine industry, and before the pandemic struck, in December of 2019, I decided I no longer wanted to work in the industry. I wanted to work from home, because actually one of my big dreams is to live in Portugal, and I wanted to start a career where I could work anywhere in the world. Here are my suggestions, and what I suggest also, after listening to my guidance, go to my website, chezvalerie.us. Of course, it's French because I sold French wine for 24 years. ChezValerie, chezvalerie.us, and you're going to get all this information. Send me an email if you need more guidance. Work from home websites and opportunities are several, and I researched and I worked with several of these organizations. The first one is Upwork. They take a percentage, it's 20% of what the job is. Therefore, what I suggest is that go for a high-paying project and do a project just to get your feet wet and learn how Upwork works and see if you like the whole genre of work from home and doing project-oriented work. I would not do anything that was less than $200 because they take 20%. But I also, when I was doing Upwork, I would take projects that I got paid within a couple of days or definitely that week. That's the other thing you want to look at. You want to get paid quickly. I know that there are millions of us who need to have income rapidly. Upwork is good for that. You have to upload a profile. They actually have security identification now, and all that's good. You have to be careful though, because there are scams, and I also got involved with one. Luckily, I got paid. It was only $80, and I did report the person to Upwork. So that's the downfall about Upwork. You have to have your BS meter turned on and really look at how the work is generated. The second website organization that I suggest is FlexJobs. FlexJobs, I researched, but I didn't really do anything for them. It's a pretty cool site, though. It's massive opportunities. They do want you to pay on a monthly basis, and I believe now they're allowing people to try it for 1 week, which is pretty cool. Spend your time getting hired through FlexJobs. It's really broad in the professions, but also in the trade. So try FlexJobs. There's also another really cool website called My Employment Options. And this is actually interesting because you can fill out a form and they will actually send you other websites for you to peruse and find work from home opportunities. But what I think is really nice about this organization, they also work with people who have disabilities, people who have lost their hearing or else they're hard of hearing, or people who are partially blind. Anybody with disabilities, they will help find jobs that are all work from home. So that's pretty cool. Lastly, there is ARP, Association of Retired People, and I don't know if you have to join to get this information, but I have it. So go on my website and you'll find it, or just send me an email when you go to my website, chezvalerie.us, and I can send you more information. I've worked with all of these, So I know the ins and outs, and it's good to help you. Let's get you some money in your bank, right? So finally I talk about money in your bank when it comes to wealth. Because usually I talk about Bob Proctor, Mary Morrissey, and Peggy McCall, and how they tell us that the world is not happening to us. We can create our own life. We create our own economy and choose these multiple sources of income. That's what this is all about. Because I have always owned real estate. I have worked in the wine industry for 24 years, and my third source of income was always some kind of consulting, and that was always Kundalini Yoga. I can do classes for $10 and just have money for fuel and cat food that week. A nice segue into yoga. The wealth yoga wine. These are all three topics that you can use to improve your lifestyle. Kundalini Yoga is the world's oldest yoga. And what I'm going to teach you now is a very quick kriya, which is what we call an exercise. And this is to control and get rid of anger in your life. We have two things going on right now with the pandemic when it comes to our health. One is the virus. And on another episode, I showed you how to do an anti-cancer breath, but it's an antivirus breath. And then this one is to how to control and abort anger. You're going to take your fist, and you're going to take your hands, put them into fist, and your thumbs have to be on the outside. And you're going to have pretty good pressure on those hands. You're going to bring your elbows up so they go backwards over your head in a pretty good clip. You want to work up a sweat. You're going to breathe in and out of your mouth like this. So it's as though you're blowing out birthday candles really quick. And the breath has to come to your belly. So you're going to go. And those hands are going back over your head. You're getting rid of anger. That's the whole essence of the anger breath. Go to my website. It's going to click on yoga. It's going to connect you to my favorite Kundalini teacher in the world. She does virtual classes. She's from New York. She is an amazing human being. Go for it. Wine. I only talk about food and wine pairing because Americans, quite honestly, don't know that much about food and wine pairing. And even though I predominantly sold French wine, I certainly know Spanish wines, I know Italian wines, and I do know domestic wines, but my love is French wine. And Burgundies is what I'm going to discuss with you folks today. Historically, you could get a Bourgogne Rouge for about $10.99, $12. But now a good Bourgogne Rouge, and that's just the generic AC Vin de Table in Burgundy. Not a fancy wine. It's what we would call a coiffer, but a good one from a good producer, and that's actually what you want. You want to find a good producer, which I share on my website. You have to send me an email, because there are some really good ones out there. I'm not going to tell you what their names are, because then I have to speak French, and I have to spell French for you, and I'm not going to bother. But Bourgogne Rouge, light and bodied, it can usually have a little more gusto to it. But a Bourgogne Rouge is perfect with salmon. It's perfect for a light lunch. It's just good to have by the glass. Always Pinot Noir. Burgundies, red Burgundies, always, always, always Pinot Noir. One of the reasons why I love French wines, because by law, they can only have certain grapes in certain appellations. Now, you can step it up a bit and get a Marsanais or a Fixin. Both of these Pinot Noirs are from specific appellations. The Marsanais is going to be a little bolder wine, meaning that you can have that with a more complicated meal, such as steak tartare, or you could have it with a roasted chicken with some nice herbs. And then, so that's the Marsanais. Still going to be light-bodied or more medium-bodied. And then your Pinot Noir, the Fixin, is going to be much meatier in its flavor profile. Therefore, you can have that with beef Bourgogne. You can certainly do grilled meats with a Burgundy that's from Fixin. therefore, that's the whole idea. And when you're looking for wines that you haven't tried yet, if you're not doing wine tastings because we're in the pandemic, some places are doing wine tastings. I strongly suggest that you get 2 wines because you want to learn the flavor profile, and then you want to go out and buy the food to build around that wine. There you go. Now you're going to have more money in your pocket. Contact me because I have done research on these organizations, work from home. Practice that anger, Kriya. Go to my website again, shayvalerie.us. Click on the yoga, and it'll take you immediately to my Kundalini yoga teacher who will teach you virtually this great yoga. And lastly, Burgundies. Get out of your everyday rut of Bogle and all that other nonsense, the Pothic, all those crappy wines, and explore my favorite country, France. Au revoir.